KTGR, the big show, starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Monday's edition of the big show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. Well, Mizzou's offense, not much to write home about. I mean, we could say that several weeks now, but even with getting the starting quarterback back in the fold, still nothing against Oklahoma. And so the 10-win season is off the board. Now Mizzou can essentially finish strong against Arkansas, but will we be talking about that all this week? Who knows, right? Who knows, Brendan?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Believe me, I still want to see them finish strong against Arkansas. It feels like it's a secondary storyline. You know, maybe that tells you, is the Arkansas rivalry a real thing for Mizzou fans? Yeah, not to the point that it supersedes the coaching chatter that I think is going to rightfully persist until such time that we get a resolution, which, gosh dang, if we're lucky, will come shortly after the Arkansas game, one way or the other, because this is something that has been excruciating to kind of feel hanging in the balance in recent weeks. And while, yeah, I have a preference on what I hope happens, if the other thing happens, I also need Mizzou to be available to be ready for that and focus on what that looks like if their coach decides to make a different decision than the one that administration is hoping he will make. So, yeah, there's more than just the Arkansas game to talk about this week.
We'll talk about an offense that needs a lot of help, that's for sure. We'll talk about the Chiefs potentially saving their season yesterday.
Oh, boy.
What a game, man.
Chiefs. If the Chiefs are back, if back means like looking like you're going to lose a game for 3 quarters and then winning it like you're always supposed to, then I guess the Chiefs are back, because that is what they did. And it's kind of the first time this year that we've seen them do the Chiefs thing and like see it fully to fruition, which is encouraging because, they needed that.
Figure out how to do it, and then we'll see what happens the rest of the year. We'll talk some Chiefs at 5:05. Lots of college football talk, of course. We'll talk all of that with Bill Connelly of ESPN at 4:25. We want your calls and texts today as well. 573-875-KTGR. See us live on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports. Also live on Facebook. Facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the big show's big deal.
Offense was not the friend of really either Oklahoma or Mizzou on Saturday, but Oklahoma had a few more moments on offense that helped them get the victory 17-6. Scored a couple of touchdowns in the second quarter, and that was really all they needed to defeat Mizzou, who could only muster up a couple of field goals. Beau Pribula returned for Mizzou after the dislocated ankle 4 weeks ago. 20 of 36, 231 passing yards, 2 interceptions. Ahmad Hardy held in check, 17 carries, 57 yards for the sophomore running back. Mizzou outgained OU in total offense, but still could not come up with the victory. And so they will not have a third consecutive 10-win season as they drop to 7-4, 3-4 in the SEC. They can only win a maximum of 2 more games rest of the way. Regular season finale against Arkansas Saturday, and then the bowl game wherever it may be. And that is the big show's big deal on this 24th day of November, 2025. Call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR to weigh in on how you saw Mizzou try to get through the game against Oklahoma. Because, I mean, they tried, but that's just a very, very, very good defense that knows how to stop the thing that Mizzou does best, and that's run the football. And they did that. And Mizzou's passing attack, no matter who the quarterback is not good enough to overcome that when the other team knows exactly what you're doing, trying to stay on schedule. And so that's ultimately what happened in this game. I didn't think it would go to the tune of Mizzou not scoring a touchdown.
Yeah,
but
there's always a possibility, I guess.
With the way that things played out, and particularly the way decisions played out, that contributed to the outcome of all that. Like the game turned on the blocked field goal. That's when it turned.
The game turned on the blocked field goal. Missouri is leading 3-0. I will say this for the offense: the two things that I think, and I don't think this was really the first time we've seen that. The two things that I think went well, the opening script. We've seen that go well, like pretty much all year for Kirby Moore's offenses. He's done a good job of putting his players in a position to succeed. You think about the Alabama game, the quick strike touchdown. It's happened in a number of games where they've looked pretty good at the beginning. We talked about it all week, how it would be very difficult for Missouri to win this game the way that they were going to have to, knowing the deficits of the offense and the strengths of the OU defense. But it was basically stay on schedule, be perfect, execute, get to 3rd and short, and continue to execute, maybe on 4th and short if you have to. And that's going to be the path. Well, they mostly did that until a penalty kind of set back that first drive, ended up having to settle for 3 as a result of that. But it was notable as well that on the made field goal attempt, you get a finger on the football. The ball was partially redirected by an Oklahoma player as it sails through, just barely squeaked through. And you're like, oh, thank goodness. All right.
Well, and Robbie Meyer caught a whole lot of turf before actually contacting the football. It was
gnarly. And I don't know why they went back to him after we had seen some good things from Oliver Robbins. It kind of harkens to like even earlier in the season, they basically said, Robbins would be the long field goal guy. And then we would go with Robbie Meyer for the shorter stuff. And I thought that might have switched at a certain point because of seeing Oliver Robbins have some success. But either way, clearly that situation, Missouri was very fortunate to get 3 points out of it. I would have loved to have seen a touchdown drive where they don't have a penalty set them back. But that just goes to show how the margin for error was 0. Right. Yeah. You get one penalty and it's going to stall your drive. Mm-hmm. They were really staying on schedule to an impressive degree before that, but it sets them back. You get a situation where your defense comes out firing. You get the ball and you're actually up 3-0, driving again with the football, and you get into the red zone. And you've been able to feel with the flow of the game how difficult it might be to get back into the red zone again. Like you had to be damn near perfect to be able to do it like you just did. And you're 4th and 3. And initially, my thought is, well, they're obviously going to go for it. And you call a timeout because it's the first half and you can afford to do so. And then Oklahoma calls a timeout after you bring your offense back out. And for some reason, Eli Drinkwitz allowed that to sway his decision, which would have been the correct decision to go for the 4th and 3.
Yeah, he said afterwards that he thought that they showed a little too much on the play that they were about to run. And
your thoughts on that?
And then
I heard his response.
So like, all right, that can be true, but then go to the next one. Like, go to the next play. You have more plays in the playbook, don't you? Like,
what are we talking about?
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, come on. The next one. All right. Okay, that one didn't work. They had somebody completely uncovered, and we were ready to throw to them, and it would have worked. But OU was smart enough to call timeout themselves and make sure that didn't happen. All right, so we got to line up into something else. All right, cool. We know we want to go for it, but let's not, because that's the thing. You had the momentum. It was on your side.
Against all odds, you had the momentum.
Like
the lead, the ball, the defense was playing well.
There were too many factors stacked up against the situation of kicking it to the point where I thought it was too much to handle. Like if even one of those different factors was, okay, maybe Blake Craig's your kicker, then maybe I think about like kicking at that sense.
See,
like maybe I do, because it did feel like a game that was going to be a rock fight. And so like, okay, points are not a bad thing to take, but like, that's not Mizzou's situation. They don't have Blake Craig out there and the rest of the special teams unit. And it's not even just Robbie Meyer or the snapper or the holder. It's everybody on the special teams unit. Whatever is happening is just not getting the job done right now. No, they're bad. Like, it's just whatever it is. I'm not saying the players are bad or individually, like, because they do other jobs other than special teams, but as a unit, they're bad.
They're horrendous. They're abysmal. And it's been true all season long. So that's why I say you make the field goal. That made field goal to make it 3-0 also informs this conversation. Or it should. For any rationally thinking head coach, it should inform this conversation. And you laid it out perfectly. There's no explanation for, well, they called timeout and took away the really good advantage we had. So, we'd shown too much. Run a different play. That's just obvious. There's no, it's an asinine answer to the question by Eli Drinkwitz. He needed a few of those to cover up for asinine decisions that he made. But let's try to stay on topic. I know I'm the one bringing us off topic, but I'm pretty fired up about it if you can't tell.
Well, yeah.
I am of the belief, and we see this now with NFL coaches doing this the right way. Normally, we're talking about it in like a fourth quarter context. but generally going from up 3 to up 6 is just not really the analytically sound decision to make anyway, because a touchdown still takes you out of it. Your point is lower scoring game. You can maybe accept it if you feel good about your kicker. I contend that even if you would have told me it's an automatic 3 points, I still would have gone for it, because I think the momentum to get in the red zone, I just didn't see how many more times we were going to get there. It was definitive to go for it, even if you know you have a good kicker, especially knowing that you don't.
Right.
And Drinkwitz was so upset with the kicker after the game that he's blaming Robbie Meyer, saying he was too slow with his time. And we told him, why are you sending the kicker that you just chewed out for being too slow with your setup or whatever the hell you're complaining about, Drink? It's just brain dead. There's no defending it. It's the worst decision that he made in his tenure at Missouri as the head coach, bar none, because there's just no way around it. I do not understand the decision. And look, you mentioned it. The Oklahoma defended the run really well. Hardy didn't have a lot of explosiveness to his
like, I don't
game.
think he can run on that play, by the way. I don't think he can. I think he got to throw it.
So if you go 4th and 3 and you run it and you get stopped, or to your point, runs, it's a little bit too far to really be able to run it. If you run a play through the air and it doesn't work out, sure, that comes with criticism because everybody's disappointed. It would have been going down swinging. And why would Missouri, in its situation, not going to make the CFP, haven't won in Norman in 60 years? Why wouldn't you choose the path of let's go down swinging and try to? We've got the edge, and we didn't necessarily think it would be easy to come by to this point in the game, and we've got it right here. Let's keep pressing our advantage, and maybe we come away with a first down, and we can kill another 2 minutes as we drive this ball into the end zone to go up 10-0. Definitively, that was the direction that he had to go. And he didn't go that way, and it's even more disappointing. The explanation for why is just nonsensical. Well, they saw our play. What is he talking about?
Next play, right?
It's ridiculous, Andy. Yeah. And then what do you think about?
So here's what I think about the rest of the plays.
There's 2 more that I think are relevant.
There's 2 more that popped up a lot on Mizzou fans' radars. Yeah. I think one of them I kind of agree with most of the Mizzou fans. The other one I don't. I think the larger thing is that the blocked field, the one that led to the blocked field goal, was the most egregious. So it made everything else that was even seemingly questionable about aggressive / non-aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, you're more upset about that because of the earlier one. I think
it leads to those decisions.
I think it's
happening.
A psychological thing.
It
but
leads
yeah,
to
you're
the
right.
decision point
Now,
on the others.
I'll rank them
because of the game situation. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll rank them. Blocked field goal. Don't go for it on 4th and 3. That was the worst. Second worst, not going for it at midfield, 4th and 2 or 3, something like that. I think
Across
that's
midfield.
First drive of the second half, you're down 11.
Yep.
That's the second worst. The third one, don't go for it on 4th and goal at the end of halftime, which I don't have much of an issue with. Like, I take points. Like,
I didn't either at that point, which we can't say take points, though. We learned that you cannot say take points because they're not really given.
Fair.
But it did make it a 1-possession game on a technicality. You would have been down by 8.
Would have been a shame to not get anything on that drive. That's
and when you were on the goal line essentially, and like you saw the previous plays, they weren't
the momentum. Ahmad Hardy was not getting in from 3 yards. Just wasn't.
And you don't trust your passing offense at that point based on what's happened in the game. I'm okay with telling your team and looking them in the eye that we got points and we're down by a possession at half. Like, I can live with that one. I cannot live with being across midfield on a 4th and 2 and not going for it down 11. It's not quite as bad as the 4th and 3 that led to the blocked field goal,
right?
But it's nearly as bad.
Yeah.
And again, I want to point out, if you make the correct decision on the first one, you may not be in the situation where you're forced to go out of your comfort zone to go for it on a 4th and short across midfield, because you might have been up 10-0. I know we can't guarantee that. But that just goes to show how abysmal the initial decision was, because it creates the situations where with a run-heavy offense that can't throw the ball, you're forced to throw the entire second half because you're playing from behind. It put them out of their element. They had game control, and they lost it. Granted, you give up an 87-yard touchdown right after the wrong decision, but that's the kind of stuff that happens when you make wrong decisions. It's I don't know if it's karmic justice. I don't know if it's your defense laxes a little bit because they're
it's just
whatever.
What happened on defense, whatever it was.
But it's like, that's what's frustrating. But let's talk about the 4th and 2 across midfield. His explanation, Eli Drinkwitz's explanation, was that he wanted to trust the defense They thought they could pin him, which I don't know what he's watched all year to think that Connor Wesselman's going to pin somebody, but Godspeed to you.
Granted, if he's from midfield, earlier in that game, he did down one at the 2.
They did.
And he did that earlier in the game. So, like, that could happen.
It could just as easily, God bless him, it could just as easily go off the side of his foot. We just have not had a punter with less acumen in a long, long time. So, what do you mean you're trusting your defense? Is it because you legitimately know that from the 48-yard line going in, you're not going to be able to score, and your best chance is if you do happen to pin him, maybe John Mateer fumbles it in the end zone? Like, I just could not believe. I was floored that they punted. I think I was more surprised that they punted there than that he allowed Robbie Meyer to come out for the blocked field goal. I was beside myself for both of them. I do not understand that explanation, because if you trust your defense, you're not that worried about him being at midfield because you can get the football back. I don't get it.
People on both sides of this argument say, yeah, go for it, trust your defense, or yeah, punt it, trust your defense. Like, you can make this say, like, that's part narrative of both camps' arguments is trust your defense. So, but
how about you don't trust your offense and you may never be across midfield again the rest of the day, and you're here and all you got to do is pick up 2 yards.
Get one play to make 2 yards, or like clearly getting 10 yards with 3 plays has been hard enough for you. You've got a chance here to extend your drive by getting 2 yards or 3 yards, whatever it was.
Is it risky? Yes, but you know what happens over a larger sample. You don't win.
You're not playing for a college football playoff bid anymore. Take risks. Like, go ahead and do it. Like, I'm fine with that. And also,
he coached like he could defend the final score to Penn State, to Auburn, to LSU, to Florida. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. And he's always conservative. But in this particular instance, to your point, they got nothing to lose. And he's coaching like he wants the score ticker on ESPN throughout the day to not say Oklahoma 31, Mizzou 6. It's going to say 17-6, and I can live with that a little bit more as I make my great escape. That's what he coached like on Saturday.
875 KTGR, call or text us with your Mizzou Oklahoma thoughts. James said he was more upset about punting on 4th and 3 from midfield. He also says Chip Kelly for OC. Oh,
no.
No.
Chip Kelly. No.
Can't afford him, first of all. And no.
Somehow the man makes bank everywhere he goes.
Yeah, man. Highest paid OC.
Highest paid in the NFL for that Raiders offense.
Oh, man. That's some money well spent right there. Man. Look, I don't know what has to happen to the offense, but it's not what Mizzou needs right now. And you could trace that back even to last year, where kind of took a step back, had a bunch of skilled players that we know the names of, and like we know the name of Donovan Olubade and Marquise Johnson and Ahmad Hardy and everybody else. Like, in these big games, Mizzou has not been able to get the next offensive star power play that puts them over the top.
Unfortunately, and I was the biggest Beau truther, you can distill it down to inconsistency at the position of quarterback. You can. I mean, the other thing I was going to say off the top of the show, Andy, I credited Kirby Moore for the opening script. I also want to credit, and maybe there's a question of why can't they do it more frequently, but when they run tempo, it's almost like Beau Pribula was more comfortable. And I don't know if it's Beau or the offense. I would say the same about Matt Zollers at Vanderbilt. It's like the best we've seen Matt Zollers was when they were needing to push the pace because of the deficit, and so they were running tempo. And Beau on that drive where he hit Coleman a couple of times, and then I know people want to hate on Beau Pribula. I still like the kid. I know he hasn't lived up to the hope or the hype or the expectation, but he hit Kevin Coleman in both hands for a touchdown, and it hit him in all 10 fingers in both palms, and he dropped it. Like, It's 17-13.
Still,
if it hits you in both hands and all 10
diving.
Fingers,
He's
diving because he dropped it.
Dive it, and that's not why he dropped.
Was it a perfect throw? No. Was it a throw that has to be caught to score a touchdown if you're trying to win this football game?
I mean, I'd like to know if it was the only guy open. That's been another criticism.
And that's a big criticism that's valid of Beau,
right? Yes. It's not quite either not the correct decision or taking too much time to find the right option. Like, I still can't understand why he's throwing a half second to a second too late to Brett Norfleet on those bootleg plays. Like,
I agree with you.
It can get you 5-10 yards if you get the ball out on time
instead of 7 because of his indecision.
Yeah.
So But what is it about the fact that either quarterback, if you get them into the hurry up, they suddenly look a lot more competent and they process more quickly, or they're getting to that first read and they're going like somehow this offense that couldn't throw a forward pass all game had 3 plays and it was in the red zone. Once it was like, hey, we're going to have to pass, we're going to hurry up. So you asked what has to change for the offense, and obviously we could be having a much bigger conversation because we don't know what's going to happen with Drink.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what Kirby Moore has done to retain his post for next season over the last 2 years with the quality of players that they have had. To your point, I think everybody looks better if they got a slam dunk quarterback out of the portal or develop a guy like a Zollers and they feel great about it. But like, I feel like Brady Cook is still on an NFL roster and Luther Burden is playing 40 plus snaps yesterday for the Chicago Bears. Like, you have had pieces to be able to do arguably more than what they have done.
Look,
and Eli Drinkwitz is supposed to be this offensive-minded head coach, and we haven't seen it for the last couple of years.
I will say, to his credit, let's not forget that who knew Brady Cook's name before he came here to Mizzou, and now he's on, as you mentioned, an NFL roster.
100%.
They deserve a lot of credit for the development of certain players. Armand Membu was not heard about at all. Top 10 pick. Like, there are a lot of success stories when it comes to this.
Several of the running backs.
Exactly.
Tyler Beatty, Cody Schrader.
Cody Schrader's a walk-on, man. Like, there's so many instances of these players developing into what Mizzou needed at that position. They just need, first they need 1 or 2 more of them, like NIL support, everything like that. But yeah, like, more aggression in these spots, more creativity, more trust in what your playbook lends for you to be more aggressive in those spots, which apparently was an issue on 4th and 3 before the blocked field goal. Like, it's not one particular thing, but it needs a 90-foot view
working.
and a reset. Yeah.
What they're doing is not working. And so is it just the Drinkwitz / Kirby offense? Like, if you had Drink still next year, but you brought in another OC, is it going to change?
It could.
It could. Maybe it doesn't. Like, I do not know the answer. I think it's kind of like when we talk about the basketball side with Dennis Gates. Like, if he just gets the best athletes, which he's in the process of doing, number 1 class for 2026, then maybe the rest of the stuff won't matter. I think if Drinkwitz is having a press conference at another school on Monday, I think we're going to look back on his era and say his inability to just get that quarterback that could elevate it would be the thing that held it back, if that's what we end up looking at. We don't know what's going to happen next, but maybe that's as simple as what it is. If he had that guy, which, it was his job to bring in that guy, but maybe falling short in that regard is kind of what has led to this. Now it feels a little bit stale, and we don't know what comes next with this offense.
Give us your thoughts on the state of Mizzou at the moment. 1 week left in the regular season, 875-5847 here on The Big Show. We'll get to your comments, but we'll also get to the thoughts of Bill Connelly of ESPN as he joins us to talk about Mizzou and the rest of the college football landscape here on The Big Show.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700 plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Don't miss Target's swag bag giveaway. Be one of the first 100 shoppers in line at any Target store on Black Friday and snag a free shimmer tote bag with holiday goodies inside. Plus, 10 lucky shoppers who snag a bag will score a free bonus gift, like a Ninja slushie, Beats Solo 4 headphones, a Life and hair dryer, or a $100 Target gift card. Don't miss Target's Black Friday swag bag giveaway. Only on Black Friday. Only at Target. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Must be 13 or older. For full details, including odds, see official rules at target.com/events.
Leland, I think Mom's been hitting the candy canes again. Yep, she said if you come into Bet's Jewelers and say you heard this ad on the radio, you get $100 off. $100, no minimum. No catch, any jewelry in stock. So earrings under $100? Free. Should I tell Dad or should you? Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas from Bet's Jewelers. Beautiful moments begin at Bet's. Begin at Bet's.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken, and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order holiday magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
It seems like the holidays are coming and going faster than ever before. In the current issue of Inside Columbia magazine, read about the timeless fall decor that transitions seamlessly from season to season. Get to know the team of handlers behind our favorite Missouri Tiger, Truman. And don't miss out on the next concert, carnival, party, or play with the Inside Columbia Community Calendar. This and much more in Inside Columbia magazine. Get yours at break time convenience stores or subscribe at InsideColumbia.net.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak. A bad one. So while the plumbing team took care of that leaky water heater, Brian's certified restoration guide, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho-hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
You're not the kind to make a nice little snow angel when the snow falls. You mark your territory in a different way. With a lemonade autograph. But when others tinkle their title in your business parking lot, you get peed off. Thanks a lot, Chad. Nice cursive work, though. Good for you, Tina. Tina? Wait a minute. Get rid of the snow graffiti with Crutch's Custom Exteriors commercial snow removal. Call Crutch's and get a quote today. Seriously, though, Tina, that's impressive.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
So Mizzou won't have a 10-win season. Only one more regular season game left, and then the bowl game. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR if you want to talk about the first 11 games that have gone so far for this Mizzou football team. Let's get the thoughts here on the Big Show of Bill Connelly of ESPN. Follow him at ESPN_Bill C on Twitter for all things college football. You can go and check out his work over at ESPN.com. And so, Bill, the rock fight, I think a lot of us imagined it would be in Norman for this game, but it ended up with Mizzou having touchdowns. And so that's not going to win you many football games. I just wonder your thoughts on how it kind of played out and whether it was to your expectations here.
Yeah, I mean, you create more scoring opportunities than your opponent. You expect to, you hope to win or maybe lose by a little. Obviously, losing by double digits in that case is pretty extreme. But, I mean, Missouri, the defense plays well for 55 minutes. The offense has a good script, comes out early, has a chance to score some points, but can't quite get it done. You kind of know, but mid-second quarter, you're like, okay, I think I've seen this episode. I think I know how this is going to play out. And then it plays out that way. So, this is the point of the year where I start to kind of look back at, like, what were we saying in August? I like kind of the perspective angle of things. And, in August, we were talking about Horn versus Pribula. Don't have one for the entire year, don't have another for 2 games, and then he has to rush back to play against one of the most aggressive defense in the country in Norman within a month of a dislocated ankle. We talked a lot. I remember saying a lot, like, nobody's entitled to win in all their close games. Sometimes if you don't have the right close game combination, you're going to lose those. Missouri won 10-1 the last 2 years in 1-score games. They're 1-2 this year. You can kind of count Saturday as like an honorary close game because it should have been a 1-score game. So in the end, and I'm pretty sure I said about 8 wins at the end of the discussion as well. So, I mean, in theory, this has gone about as expected. Missouri's 20th in my SP Plus rankings. They've lost to the 4 teams above them. They've beaten everybody below them. It's been kind of, it's just when you live it, it's never just like we're always the 20th best team in the country. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have higher hopes at some point. And then when those hopes come back down to where you originally had them, it kind of feels like a disappointment.
And maybe we'll get into whether they can achieve that 8th win coming up on Saturday in the Battle Line rivalry. But I want to ask you first, just how good of a defense has Mizzou squandered by not having an offense this season? Because it really seems like they have shown up in some of these big games recently.
Well, early in the year, the offense was kind of covering for the defense a little bit. Lots of big play issues against Kansas, a little bit of a big play issue against in some plays against South Carolina. But yeah, right around that UMass game, it felt like the identity, I guess, of the team kind of shifted a little bit. But I mean, still, you scored 24 points against Alabama. That's above average for playing Alabama. And you lose your quarterback in the third quarter of the Vanderbilt game after a couple of really good scoring opportunities. So, I mean, it's been back and forth. Coaches, I'm sure, coaches would, they like to talk about complementary football and whatnot, which basically just means both units playing well at the same time, and special teams. And Missouri hasn't really had that all year. It's been one better than the other. But, again, like, they were projected 20th. They're 20th currently. They've beaten all the teams better, worse than them. And it hasn't been, considering where expectations were in August, I'd say this is about right.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I mean, and surely the expectation is to just go and take care of business against an Arkansas team like that. There could be a lot of noise that swirls around this game. It means more about what the future of Mizzou is past this game, which is largely kind of meaningless for both seasons. But just, I'm sure we expect a lot of points in these types of games, considering the games that Arkansas has played. I wonder, do we see a Mizzou offense that looks better than maybe we've seen in past games, just because they're going up against Arkansas on their defense?
Well, I mean, you do kind of wonder if Arkansas can. They haven't stopped the run all year. They haven't stopped anything all year. They managed to give up 38 points to Mississippi State. They managed to give up 32 to Memphis. It's been a track meet. But the thing is, they are 15th in my offensive SP plus rankings. They can score. They will absolutely score some points, and you have to keep up. You cannot squander opportunities or get loose with the football and give them an opportunity to get ahead of you, because they might not ever stop scoring if they're ahead of you. So it is a worry. I figured they were due for a big upset at some point this year. And so now you look at the schedule and realize how close they've come, but they haven't actually gotten one. It does concern you a little bit, but I think, this is, Missouri is between bowl. It's like, I don't remember how old I am because I'm between 40 and 50. I won't remember again until I'm 50. Missouri's past bowl eligibility. They're not going to get 10 wins. They're going to end up in the middle. And this game's we're going to end up talking about the future, basically, the moment this game ends.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens there. Now, I mean, this past weekend was a lot of results that I think most everybody expected. And so I'm more interested in what you think about this upcoming weekend and what it could be. Of course, it's always important when, shifting records and things like that, standings, who's in the conference championship games in the end, and the CFP and everything like that. But man, everything surrounding the Egg Bowl is going to be fascinating. For the game on the field, aside from everything else, does Mississippi State have a chance here, or do we still think Ole Miss is too much to handle?
Yeah, I mean, they're much, much better than Mississippi State, but if there's any capability of being distracted, Ole Miss could be distracted. And this is a nonsense rivalry anyway. Very, very silly things happen. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on guard if I'm an Ole Miss fan. I do like that this game is early on Friday, so we can just get it out of the way and get on to, Kiffin announcing he's going to do whatever he's going to do. But this is, you look at the schedule, was it like 9 of the top, like if you ignoring the top 3 teams, something like 9 of the 11 teams between 4th and 14th, probably in the college football playoff rankings, are on the road. They're not all going to win. The odds are firmly against them all winning. And so it really is kind of a, we don't know who can survive a loss and stay in the field. There's a lot of teams that, like Vanderbilt, could go 10-2 in the SEC and miss out. It's a very, very clogged set of at-large bids, and somebody's going to lose. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
And you mentioned Friday. There's a good slate Friday. We've got Georgia Tech. You've got obviously the game that Texas. I guess my question is, where does Texas stand in your view in all this? Obviously, we don't have the newest CFP rankings out just yet, but they've got an opportunity to at least impress in their final game, hosting Texas A&M, which remains unbeaten. Kind of how do you see that one playing out and what it could mean?
Yeah, I bet they're going to be about 16th, maybe 15th if they help Michigan. I don't know why they would, though. Michigan looked good on Saturday. So, I think the bottom line is they have the capability of hopping a couple teams if just with a win over Texas A&M, but it would help them a lot if Miami loses again, which is absolutely possible. Vanderbilt losing to Tennessee would be very helpful for them. So it does seem like they're going to need some help. And it is funny. I mean, for weeks, it was easy to look at Texas versus A&M and Michigan versus Ohio State as kind of like, hey, if the underdog can win out, they can be a win and end situation. And it really doesn't seem like that because last week, like you said, nobody lost. Everybody kind of held on to their spots. And that could make for, it's I don't know what chaos is here, if it's just a bunch of these teams losing or if it's that they all win and the committee has absolutely no idea how to rank like number 9 through 14. But it'll be interesting.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Do you think we could see some craziness in the Iron Bowl at all? I mean, Alabama, obviously coming off, they had a nobody opponent this weekend, but the most recent meaningful game they had, Oklahoma handled them pretty well in their place. How do you kind of see them picking themselves up against the defense that will not let you do a whole lot? It can frustrate you a lot at the time.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously Alabama's very good, but they've actually, looking at my projections, they've underachieved on average for the last 4 games. They haven't really been dominant. Aside from like a good stretch against Tennessee, they haven't really dominated at all this year, except for, Eastern Illinois and Louisiana Monroe. So they are just a very good team, and Auburn's kind of like Arkansas in reverse in that they're capable of upsetting somebody if they just get a couple of breaks and just get a little bit of offense. So don't know that they're going to get a little bit of offense, and they might have played out all their upset hopes in losing that track meet to Vanderbilt, but it's only like a 6-point projection with SP Plus, and I think the line's pretty close to that too. So those are always possible upsets.
How about the game in Tennessee with the Vols obviously not wanting to concede anything to Vanderbilt? As you mentioned, Vanderbilt could win this game and maybe not get the help that they need, but certainly a lot of pride on the line, I would think, to be able to finish strong and, at least have that argument that, the committee screwed us. That's the only reason we didn't win the national championship that Diego Pavia predicted.
Yeah, I mean, that's, before the Vandy Kentucky game, I was pretty convinced like this is going to be Tennessee's going to win. Vandy just doesn't have the defense. Defense fell apart against Texas and Auburn. And it just really seemed like that side of the ball was kind of letting go of the rope, so to speak, kind of like Georgia Tech had been, except Georgia Tech kept playing terrible defense this last weekend. And Vandy dominated a Kentucky team that had been really, really solid in recent weeks. So that was, if you're a Vandy fan, you're really, really encouraged by that. I think it does come down to the simple fact that Tennessee's offense is really good, and I still don't quite trust Vandy on that side of the ball, but this has track meet written all over it, and Vanderbilt's more than comfortable in those situations. So I think from a projection standpoint, this is almost directly 50-50, maybe slight lean to Tennessee, but it's going to be, I'm excited about this one.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show, KTGR. Bill, this has been a huge talking point. I mean, not just this past week, but for maybe a few weeks. The Notre Dame versus Miami stuff. I mean, it seems that everybody needs to be on a side, and rightfully so, I guess. But just how do you see that, like, as both teams get another data point this weekend, Miami may be the better chance to impress considering their opponent because they get Pitt, and Pitt has looked like a really good team this year. Just do they get any closer to that conversation with a win, or is this just kind of crazy talk?
Well, first of all, it's a sign that things are going pretty well. If this is the biggest controversy we can gin up, like that's a really good sign in and of itself. But I mean, how much weight is head to head supposed to carry? We played 11 games, we get 12, or some get 13, and we're supposed to decide who's the rank order of all these teams, and we're supposed to count one game as like half of the ranking. Miami was a better team in week 1. They're probably a better team in weeks 2 and 3, and Notre Dame's been a better team since. Just definitively better. They have blown out just about every single team they've had. Miami had 2 chances with their however many $1 million quarterback to go play for the win at the end of the SMU and Louisville games, and decided to play for overtime both times, lost one before overtime and lost the other in overtime. And so I'm not going to even slightly feel sorry for them. Their second best win is probably USF. I don't, Notre Dame is so far ahead to me in the pecking order that head-to-head shouldn't play a role here at all. I'm all good. Like, if you're right next to each other, fine. The head-to-head winner gets the higher spot, but they're not. And I don't think they will be unless a few other teams lose. And if a few other teams lose, they're both safe anyway. So what does it matter?
And that's kind of what Hunter Yurachek said, but people did not like hearing that, I guess, was really the way that it boiled down.
Yeah, the committee chairman having to speak is always the biggest problem in a given week, because all he's doing is reciting stuff he's heard in the room. But when he says it, we take it as gospel. Here's why the committee did this. And it's an impossible job. And we would save a lot of stress if we just got rid of that part of it.
I would be much appreciative of that. Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR. I mean, at this point, I kind of see it as, okay, Miami, fine. I almost like root for the chaos to happen for them to actually make the ACC championship. I'm like, okay, go ahead and get the auto bid, whatever it might be. I don't know what all has to happen for that to take place, because I think technically the ACC still has 5-ish teams that could make it.
Right. I don't think Miami's like 4th or 5th in line for that auto. Right. That's going to be tricky.
When you say teams that could make it, that doesn't guarantee that any of those teams are in the playoff.
No.
With the way that the bottom of the rankings get. Is that a realistic scenario in your mind, Bill, of the ACC champion potentially being left out, or is that something that we won't find out until like tomorrow when we see what the rankings update is? I'm
guessing we find Pitt and SMU like 24th and 25th this week, which kind of puts an end to it. I think James Madison would beat Pitt. The SMU's a lot better now than they were a few weeks ago, so maybe I'd lean SMU in that one. But James Madison's been the better team, I think, top to bottom from the start of the year. JMU's good, and they are getting kind of screwed by the committee, I think. So, if that's the worst controversy, so be it. But I would absolutely be taking the idea of putting in JMU over the ACC champion. If it's like Virginia isn't great, SMU's not great, but getting better. Pitt's not great. They're all over the map. Like this conference has one awesome team, and it's lost to 2 ACC teams, and that alone should be an elimination if we're being honest. So yeah, it's a mess.
It's a beautiful mess, and that's what college football is. That's why we love it. So we'll be looking forward to it Thanksgiving weekend with Bill Connelly of ESPN. Follow him on Twitter at ESPN_BillC. See his great coverage of all things college football over at ESPN.com. Thanks for coming on, Bill. We'll chat very soon. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We'll see you.
Sounds good. You too.
All right. It is 4:43 here on the Big Show KTGR. It is a beautiful mess, and that's why we love this sport. That's why I don't want the Big Ten to get what it wants and have all these auto bids that they're asking for in a 24-team format, which, by the way, you saw that. I guess they're voting to extend the deadline through January.
Extend the deadline so they can make it up as they go along.
Yeah. Golly. It's going to be something else. We're going to have a 64-team bracket and college football until April.
There you go.
I guess that's not a bad thing.
They'll hold the draft on the field after the national championship.
It'll kind of be like almost like the WNBA or something like that, because the WNBA basically drafts right after the women's tournament ends.
It's pretty much instantaneous, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah.
So, that way the NFL doesn't have to worry about their whole, can we schedule everything in media windows?
Own the calendar.
The calendar all year round. 573-875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here. All right, under the bus coming up next, Dan Lanning taking a shot at the SEC, particularly in the scheduling model. And I actually think he's right about this. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon, I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou unable to get a 10-win season this year after their 4th loss of the year came on Saturday in Norman, as Oklahoma prevailed 17-6. Beau Pribula returned from the dislocated ankle he suffered 4 weeks ago. Through 36 passes, completed 20 of them, 231 yards, 2 interceptions. Mizzou did outgain Oklahoma in total offense, but failed to score a touchdown and could not overcome the 2 scored by OU in the second quarter. Mizzou 7-4 overall, 3-4 in SEC play. They'll take on Arkansas on the road Saturday at 2:30 to close the regular season. Chiefs with a big comeback win yesterday in overtime over the Colts, 23-20. Harrison Butker, the walk-off field goal. Chiefs trailed 20-9 entering the fourth quarter. Kareem Hunt over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes over 350 yards passing. Chiefs play on Thanksgiving at the Dallas Cowboys at 3:30 this Thursday. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Billiards on Broadway, home to fresh hand patty burgers, fresh cut fries, a long list of Missouri beers on tap, pool tables, and huge TVs. Get to Billiards on Broadway in downtown Columbia.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a cloudy and rainy night as showers continue through late this evening. Fog develops tomorrow morning. Temperatures remain in the upper 40s to around 50 with cloud cover lingering through tomorrow afternoon. We'll see highs back into the mid to upper 50s. It'll be breezy, especially towards late afternoon as clouds clear out. We'll have a chance for a couple more sprinkles with temperatures dropping down to near freezing by Wednesday morning. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou play of the week?
Kanik wing to the right, 2 receivers to the left of the formation, running back offset left. Mateer wants to throw. Looking pressure front side, running to his right, trying to get outside. It's going to be hit and dragged down by Damon Wilson inside the Sooner 16-yard line at the 15-yard line. Wilson showing his closing speed.
The Mizzou play of the week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
Hey, it's Andy and Brendan here with Underdog Fantasy. It is prime football time, of course, and it's feast week on Underdog, which means every single day from November 26th through the 30th, you can check the app daily for special promos. So be ready to download the app and get in on those special promos once they start later this week. But Brendan, what do you like tonight for Monday Night Football?
Yeah, this is a game between the Panthers and 49ers where folks are expecting a lot of points to be scored. So for the 49ers, I like Christian McCaffrey higher than 5.5 receptions. He is always making his hay as a pass catcher. And then on the other side, Bryce Young coming off of a career high in passing yards last week. I'll go Bryce Young higher than 209.5 passing yards on Monday.
So that can be your underdog entry if you want it to be. Pick multiple players on multiple teams, go higher or lower on their stats. If you get all the picks right in your entry, you could win up to 5,000 times your money. And of course, be checking for those specials that can make your entry even more profitable. So go and download the Underdog app and sign up with our promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Zimmer Communications is an equal opportunity employer. If you're hardworking, driven to succeed, and would like to be a part of the Zimmer team, please visit ZimmerCommunications.com to apply and see all of our current openings. Candidates should have a proven track record of success and creative problem-solving abilities. You can also apply in person at either of our locations, 3109 South 10 Mile Drive in Jefferson City or at 3215 Lamone Industrial Boulevard in Columbia.
The Big O Tires Black Friday sale is on. It's the biggest sale of the year. Now through December 7th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free on select sets. That's right, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free. And the savings don't stop there. Get up to $120 off select sets of Michelin tires. Get rolling with huge savings before they're gone. Only at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, the team you trust.
We got you covered at Big O.
Let's talk numbers, because if you're a fan of stats, you'll want to hear this. Flight by Yingling has just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's light beer that actually brings some game day flavor. Whether you're at the tailgate or watching from the couch, Flight delivers that crisp, refreshing taste without the extra baggage. Brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's legit. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care, educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. From pruning to removal to planting, their expertise goes beyond the surface. They're known for properly planting trees, removing burlap and wire cages from the root ball to ensure long-term growth and strength. With expert service and yearly discounts, your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Dan Lanning came out firing. Easier to do that after you beat a team like USC, I will say.
Definitely, yeah.
But I do think he's right. Like, his quote after taking down USC in what was a convincing win in one of the other top 25 matchups Mizzou played in the other one. This was the only other one that was playing this weekend. Said, quote, all we can do next week is try and do the same thing. This conference is a really good conference. It's competitive. We didn't play Chattanooga State today like some other places. Hey, first of all, I don't know Chattanooga State is an actual school, but you kind of get the point.
They're under the bus if they exist, but
Yeah.
they don't. I don't believe.
I don't think they. Chattanooga exists.
Yes.
There is a school there, and they play.
Oh,
do
no.
they play FBS?
I think they're FCS, but there's a Chattanooga State Community College.
Oh, so those guys, like, why are you wrapping us into this, Lanning?
If
Come
they
on.
have a football program, that's not very nice.
No, not at all. Under the bus to them. But I think the point came across pretty well from Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
Alabama and Auburn do not need to schedule these cupcakes this weekend, nor does A&M, nor does these other schools that did that. Georgia played a nobody. Like,
why don't you be careful with that? Because Western Kentucky only lost to LSU by 3.
Well, watch out for those Hilltoppers, man. Great
almost got
mascot. Wonderful mascot. Top 5 mascot in all of college football.
Big Red almost got him.
Oh, man. But yeah, look, I will say this. Hopefully this is what gets cut out next year with the SEC moving to 9 games. Like, this is where they need to put the conference game, not earlier in the season. Get rid of the week before Thanksgiving, scheduling the cupcakes so that you have enough guys for Auburn, or you have enough guys for Georgia Tech, or you have enough guys for Florida State. It's the dumbest thing ever. And like, Ole Miss and Mississippi State didn't even play this weekend. Like, so
yeah, it should ramp up. It should ramp up to be the pinnacle of the football season as you're getting deeper into November. You shouldn't get to just like go back to square one for a week so you can rest up for the rivalry game. I hope that does go by the wayside with the new scheduling arrangement. For sure.
So well done, Dan Lanning, called it out. And we'll see if he can keep backing it up with how his team plays. Under the bus also to Jordan Hudson. Apparently she is threatening to sue Pablo Torre. Good luck.
I think Pablo Torre is saying, bring it on.
Let's go, baby.
I can get you into discovery, and we can really get some files out into the open and everything. Because he does a great job with like doing the digging.
Oh yeah.
But if you can put her on the stand or go through a discovery process where she can't lie about it or she's going to go to jail, I think Pablo Torre would welcome the opportunity.
I don't think the suit has actually been filed yet, and my guess would be that it does not get filed. So somebody smarter that is currently advising Jordan Hudson, or Bill Belichick for that matter, is going to step in and be like, guys, let's think about this again. Well, really sweet to see the cross-country championships this weekend for NCAA D1 at Gans Creek, right here in our backyard of Columbia, Missouri. And congrats to Mizzou's Monica Wanjiku, who became just the second freshman in Mizzou history to be an All-American. Finished 35th in the race. That was high enough to earn All-American status. Congrats to Monica. Looking forward to a bright future for her at Mizzou cross-country. Mizzou ladies finished 28th in the country this weekend. Just excellent to have an event like that I'm sure will return very soon here at this excellent cross-country course that Columbia has.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's a great setting for it, and so it was good to be able to showcase that and, have some individuals have some success. That's a lot of fun.
I remember seeing Dave Matter had the video of the starting gun and just the vast line of runners that just shoots out right at the beginning. And even though the weather wasn't awesome, still worked out very well from what I hear this weekend over at Gans Creek. So well done to everyone involved with that. And we'll look forward to more events there very soon. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. Boy, the Chiefs needed that. It was looking bleak at around 2:30 yesterday, but as Brenda mentioned, if this is the type of win that the Chiefs can do this year, maybe they're back. Maybe they're back.
That's all we've been waiting for. I mean, that's what I know, that I should be able to get to come on the show every Monday and complain that the Chiefs didn't win more handily.
Yeah.
That's how this is supposed to go. So we get to do that coming up.
First one-score win of the year. How about that?
So back.
It's all back. We'll talk about how back the Chiefs are coming up at 5:05. And look ahead to what should be, as Bill Connelly mentioned earlier, a very interesting college football weekend. Biggest one since when? We'll talk about it next. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are knowledgeable car people, great folks to work with, and they make sure you get a great deal, too. If you head over to leestirecompany.com, you can check out all of the great rebates that you can get on select tires. And if you're in the market for new tires right now, well, now's a great month to do it because Lee's Tire Company all throughout the month of November is giving you a free front-end alignment if you buy 4 new tires. So not only are you getting a top-notch crew to find the right tires for your vehicle, but you're also getting that free front-end alignment. Again, good through the end of this month. So head into Lee's Tire Company to take advantage of that now. And on top of that, their work is backed up by a 36 months, 36,000 miles nationwide warranty. Keeps you safe on the road, keeps you safe in your wallet as well. Head into Lee's Tire Company. There are 2 locations in Columbia, one on the Business Loop, another one at University Garage right by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia, or online at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of my first and only auto claims for me personally came when we were on a long road trip, and I was maybe following a semi-truck a little too close, and we all know when those rocks pop up, crack your windshield. First thing I did the next day was call Phyllis. Phyllis handled the whole thing. She got us into, I think, one of the local vendors to replace our windshield, and within 24 hours, it was done, it was over, and made it a very seamless process.
Hey y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. November is the month for giving thanks. But here's something we're not thankful for. Ground turkey. But seriously, have y'all ever tried to make a burger out of that meat? No matter what you do, it is dry. You know what you will be thankful for? Our famous Billiards burger. No turkey required.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards! On Broadway.
No turkey burgers were made in the making of this commercial.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
It's the NFL. Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield confirmed an AC joint sprain in his left shoulder, but showed no additional damage after having testing done today. Mayfield's status for Sunday's game against the Cardinals remains uncertain, but he seems to have avoided any long-term injury. Did not play in the second half of last night's loss to the Rams. Elsewhere in Cleveland, new QB1, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski announcing Shedeur Sanders will start against the Niners on Sunday, even with quarterback Dylan Gabriel clearing concussion protocol. Sanders ending a 17-game losing streak for the Browns, with QBs making their first career start. Elsewhere, Commanders QB Jaden Daniels returning to practice this week, but unlikely to play against the Broncos. Suffered a scary arm injury in the team's loss to the Seahawks a little over 3 weeks ago. Bengals getting quarterback Joe Burrow to return. Head coach Zach Taylor saying he anticipates Burrow playing on Thanksgiving night against the Ravens. Has been out since week 2 dealing with a turf toe injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
I really was a matter of minutes from counting out the Kansas City Chiefs, not just in their game on Sunday, but for the entire 2025 season. But they did what they kind of used to do and came back to beat the Colts yesterday afternoon at Arrowhead Stadium. So did they save the season with their come-from-behind win? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk about the upcoming weekend for college football at 5:25. A lot of big games on tap. Even if Mizzou, Arkansas doesn't feel like one of them, you can certainly weigh in with your thoughts on the Tigers after Saturday's disappointing loss at Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm still reeling from some of those coaching decisions. 573-875-5847 if you'd like to call or text us. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Yeah, 17 to 6 loss for Mizzou at Oklahoma. And one that really takes the wind out of the sails. I mean, there was a lot out of the sails anyway after the A&M game, but you could still look at like, oh, you could get to 10 wins. You can get a huge rivalry win against Oklahoma and then finish it out over Arkansas, and then you can have the path to 10 wins. Well, now that's gone too, and so Mizzou fans looking around like, okay, cool, we can beat Arkansas, we can win a bowl game, but I'm more worried about is Eli Drinkwitz going to stick around. And so that's going to be a lot of the talk this week and on until we get a definitive answer on that. In the meantime, Mizzou will play Arkansas, and we'll most likely see a lot of points. At least Mizzou's offense should look better than it did last Saturday, but can Mizzou stop Arkansas from their hot scoring attack? 2:30 on Saturdays when they kick it off.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Chiefs were almost buried, but as we have seen them do in past years, kind of came back from the dead and were down 11 points, but made that deficit up against the Colts, forced overtime, and got the game-winning field goal to win 23-20 and stay alive in that AFC playoff hunt. They didn't get into the field just yet, but are still within striking distance. That's a win they really needed. This is a very interesting matchup, though, against the Cowboys, one that I'm not sure I like all that much. We'll get into it here in a few minutes.
Number 3.
This weekend in college football was kind of meh. No real upsets. I think the highest-ranked team that lost technically was Georgia Tech, or maybe USC, whichever one. But USC was playing a team ranked higher than them. Georgia Tech, I don't think, was the better team than Pitt. So it was kind of a lull ahead of what should be very entertaining on your Thanksgiving weekend for the college football. Egg Bowl, Iron Bowl, all with crazy implications to it. We could see a ton of upsets, as Bill Connelly said. A lot of top teams on the road. I can't wait for this weekend.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
And for future playoff formats, it appears that ESPN and the College Football Playoff have agreed to extend the deadline to decide on next year's format past December 1st, which is next Monday. It looks like they'll have at least through January to decide. And we're going to be considering that 24-team model that the Big Ten is floating. Yeah, please no.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Hey, Jordan Hudson go ahead and sue Pablo Torre. Bring all the receipts out, and we'll see who wins this one.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. On a similar note, did you see how North Carolina lost this weekend?
I did not. Bill Belichick didn't win the game.
No, he did not.
That they would win.
They lost. Yeah, I know, right? They lost. They are no longer able to get to 6 wins, so they're not going to be in a bowl game. They're now 4-7. They were playing Duke. Duke was lined up for what would have been a go-ahead field goal. I think about a 40-ish yard attempt. They fake it. Holder takes the snap, kind of flips it forward, almost like a jump shot pass over to the kicker, then catches it in stride, and he runs like 30-ish yards all the way to the 1, and that sets up the go-ahead touchdown against North Carolina. So Duke won that game, and
oh wow,
yeah, that was
the guy crazy. The guy off the edge for North Carolina just never considered the possibility of the flip to the kicker. He was selling out for the holder.
Yeah,
and it was easy. You read that guy on the edge, and you were like, you might be able to come up with something, and it was like picture perfect. Yep, that's something. And all
that's
the ways
Bill
that
Belichick
you can
coach team right there.
That's all the ways that you can fail on the details, I suppose. But we don't have a lot to say about failure on special teams because we know a thing or two about that. So,
I mean, wasn't saying it respective to what Mizzou does.
No, you weren't. You weren't. I just always think about it.
They've bitten on fakes before. So
throughout my day, like I'm having a sandwich for lunch, and I think, oh man, remember that time Mizzou's special teams was bad? And then I just move on to the eating the next bite of my sandwich.
Well, at least you can move on from that because that can kind of ruin days.
Yeah, it's ruined a season in some ways. So, yeah.
I
don't know that. I mean, we'll obviously talk about it over the next couple of days. This Arkansas game, Missouri is only a 2.5-point favorite. I do not know that I can predict Mizzou to win this game, knowing that Arkansas can and probably will score points. Like Mizzou's defense has been great. We didn't mention it in the opening segment talking about the Oklahoma game, and we probably should. The defense was awesome, right?
Awesome.
There's a one play where they scored that long touchdown, but the defense had no fault in the loss. You scored 6 points. That was the reason that you lost the game. The defense was really good. I will say, though, Oklahoma's offense is not Arkansas's offense. Arkansas's offense is better than Oklahoma's offense. So if you're telling me that we can just do a little transitive property action and say, okay, held Oklahoma to 17 at their place, can you hold Arkansas to 24 at their place? If you can, great. I don't know if Missouri can score 25 points right now, even against the Arkansas defense. So we'll see.
Well, I view it like Mississippi State. Arkansas cannot stop the run. Give it to Ahmad Hardy and give it to him again and again and again. 300 yards he is capable of, I think, in this game. So he won't. I don't think he'll get there, but he's capable of it. Give it to him again and again and again and again. And then again set up of other stuff on top of that. Mix in a pass, some other things that keeps Arkansas off balance. But you are running this game through Ahmad Hardy, no questions asked. So I do think they can score enough points to have that be the case if they're going about it that way. But you're right. Like Mizzou's defense will have a tougher test than they did this past weekend. So
yeah, and hopefully, and I think as much as I want to win the game, get the over 7.5, be able to say that we didn't really fall short of the general expectations of the season. I also kind of want to see Ahmad Hardy get the school rushing record. Love Cody Schrader, but I came into the year saying I think Ahmad Hardy could have that kind of impact, and he can do it. He needs
220.
He could. I could absolutely do that in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would predict it, but it could happen for sure.
So we'll see. We're on that watch once again. 875-5847. If you want to call or text us. Kareem Hunt carried it 30 times. On Sunday.
So after we talked a lot, and I wasn't like glowing in my praise of Kareem Hunt when we talked about him, he had a really, really good game. He had the one bad play, which was the fumble. But how about this? And this is something that I do think is a significant difference for this Chiefs team. They showed the shot on the sideline of Travis Kelce just getting right up into the grill of Kareem Hunt in a supportive way after that and saying, hey, we can't lose you right now for this game. We're still in this thing. Defense gets the stop, you get the ball back. That type of leadership from Travis Kelce was a moment that showed me like they still might pull this thing out. Rather than Travis Kelce being a deterrent, early in the season, kind of moping around the sideline, getting into arguments with people. I'm not saying it was a regular occurrence, but it happened a couple of times. And as we're trying to piece together the chemistry of this Chiefs team and the DNA of a team that last year, they just won every close game. It didn't matter how or why they were going to win them. I thought that was notable to see that. And it's such a great shot from the broadcast crew to show that interaction on the sideline. And lo and behold, Kareem Hunt had some big runs to help set up the final field goal for Butker. That was a really gutty performance by the Chiefs to make their way back into it. And Kareem Hunt was definitely a key figure in the win.
I mean, I think it's indicative of a team that we have talked about in years past. Hey, they're not playing their best. There are some odd plays that you think is very uncharacteristic of the players that we are talking about, like Kelsey or Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, for example?
There are a bunch of head scratchers that we're looking at and say, why are they playing this way? This is so sloppy. And yet they give themselves a shot against an 8-2 NFL team. And no, I don't think the Colts are as good as maybe we thought they were. I put them third last week in our top 5. It's probably too high. But 8-2 is 8-2 in the NFL. That is hard to get to. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care who your quarterback is, whatever it might be. It's hard to get to. And the Chiefs put themselves in a situation where they could come back, even with how poorly they played, and still win that game and dominate time of possession and dominate the yardage and dominate in some other areas.
Just come through in the clutch. When the margin for error was 0 after the Kareem Hunt fumble, you had to get a stop defensively, march down and score, get the ball back, make a field goal to get to overtime. And they did all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we've come to expect of the Chiefs, and we hadn't seen it this year yet in the close games, where it almost doesn't matter what the deficit is. It's 11 points. So here's the script of how you do it. You've got this amount of time to do it in, and then you'll accomplish it, and you get to overtime. That's how it normally has felt watching this Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and all these cast and crew, and it just didn't feel that way this year until yesterday. And that's when it was the spark was back. That's what it's supposed to look like.
And they have been in position to win pretty much every single one of their games this year. It's not like they were there were some where most of them they've been favored in. There were maybe 1 or 2 where they weren't, but they were within reach of every game that they have been in. They've lost 5 of them. But
and at times they've had the half comeback, against the Bills, we're going to cut it to this and we're going to have the ball, but then they don't do the Chiefs thing.
They miss the play that gets them back into it. And yesterday it was the Rice play.
The Rice play, fourth down.
Yeah, that one.
The throw was high.
Yeah.
The throw was high, and Rice had to make a play.
Caught it and it got something after the catch. I thought the third down conversion to Worthy was really key. I believe in OT because, if you stall out there, you think about going for it, but then you're risking putting the Colts in field goal territory, and then they can win it. It's you need to have it on that play, and they end up getting it.
I thought they were going to review. I think he caught it, but I was like this, waiting for them to do the next snap and thinking they were reviewing it. But they ended up reviewing it for the spot, not for the did he keep it off the ground. So that was a key play as well. And that's what we're used to talking about. It doesn't matter specifically who it is, but 4 or 5 guys will make the key play during every Chiefs comeback. And we're talking about these plays going, without that play, they don't win. And up until yesterday, in these scenarios this season, they've had one of those such plays go against them, or the guy not come through with the special or the above and beyond type of play to get. And it's the Chiefs were on the brink of their season with the way that the Texans handling Thursday Night Football goes. The Jaguars end up winning. There's all of these results happening to where I think with that loss, you would have been hard pressed to see a very clear path.
Yeah.
To the Chiefs running the table and getting the help that they need. So now, there's still a tough road to hoe. This Cowboys game is going to be fun.
Well, and I'm scared of it.
You should be.
I'm scared of it.
What happened to this Dallas defense? Is Jerry Jones cooking? What's going on?
Well,
they're a different team right now.
Yeah,
defensively.
that part of it. And here's the thing: I didn't even need to see them beat the Eagles this weekend to be scared of this matchup. This doesn't line up well for what the Chiefs do poorly and what the Cowboys do well. The Cowboys protect Dak Prescott. They are 4th in the league in giving up sacks this year. they do not get him dirty. He does not go to the ground very much. Chiefs
By the way,
Chris
Jones was a big part of the game as well.
He
doing
was.
that to Daniel Jones, getting into his grill.
Yeah. Now, they didn't have a sack yesterday, but you're right. Like, it was better, affecting some throws. And, again, it was a masterclass by Spags. 4 straight 3-and-outs to end the game. Like, that's
the third down blitz after the Hunt fumble was classic Spags.
So good. The Chiefs defense as a unit, I think, is still very good, but that element is missing. They cannot get to the quarterback with any kind of regularity, and the Cowboys know how to give Dak Prescott enough time to operate, especially when he's at home. And the Chiefs on the road have been a different team on the road. And you talk about the defense being better for the Cowboys in recent games. Like, is the Chiefs offense capable of coming out? Like, they still didn't have a great game the other day, if I'm being totally honest. But it was still enough to win
Mahomes
this one.
Was largely not just like whatever flowery way I can say it. He was bad for a lot of that game.
Missing
and Tony Romo was all over it.
Yeah.
I don't think Romo is great anymore at what he does, but he still sees things from that quarterback's perspective. And I am a Joe Blow that doesn't know anything. And I'm like, Mahomes, why do you continue running into the spy, moving up in the pocket when the pocket's clean?
Yeah.
Like, don't stop leaving the pocket and having to accelerate the timeline of this progression and of this play. Just let it happen and trust your team. Patrick's going to have to start trusting his teammates a little bit more and understand that I don't have to be Superman. And maybe his teammmates aren't good enough, but
that might be hard to do this. It might be hard to do this week without Trey Smith, because they're not going to have Trey Smith this week. Ankle has been reported, apparently both high and low ankle sprains. I don't like that, the sound of that. And short week. He's not playing this week.
Well, and Patrick played like it. He played like he knew the line was going to be at less than full strength after Trey Smith left that game. And I just feel like you've got to accept that there are other people that you're going to rely upon and have a little bit of trust. And rather than accelerate, he was just like speeding through the reads. And if it wasn't there right away, some of these are slower developing routes, as Tony Romo was talking about, and you have to be willing to see a play through when your line is actually blocking for you pretty decently.
Yeah, and we'll see what difference it makes as the Chiefs go to Dallas, which, again, like, both teams are on a short week, but I just think it favors Dallas so much. They're the home team. They've won 3 straight Thanksgiving games. And here's the thing. I don't like the matchup. Now, look, Chiefs can go 5-1 and I think still make the playoffs. This can be the one, because I do like their matchups after this. So a win here would be huge, I think. You can still get it, and it would really set you up well, I think, for the final 5 weeks. But this one scares me a little bit, Brendan.
A win here, even though we've kind of made the Cowboys the butt of our joke for a while, we do have to they get Overshown back. They get some of these guys back. They make a trade for Quinnen Williams. Their defense is not the same butt of the joke that it was earlier in the season when we're like, why did you trade Micah Parsons? They have, I don't think before the trade deadline, getting Quinnen Williams, they gave up a lot to get it, but I feel like that really has helped the defense. It's a different team now, to the point where a win in this one, I think the Chiefs are -3. They're a small favorite on the road.
Yeah.
But a win here will, and looking good doing it, would put me back, even though it's just the Cowboys, would put me back into thinking this Chiefs team can win the Super Bowl. I'll be ready from a 10-point win over the Cowboys. If they just go out and handle business, I'll be like, all right, I'm not considering that what I would have thought a win over the Cowboys was earlier in the year. This was actually, if they do a game like that. So that's speaking to exactly maybe how concerned I am about the game as well, that this is not going to be given freely. And by the way, if Dak Prescott has time, which we expect based on the trends of both teams that he will, he's got 2 wide receiver ones on this team. George Pickens has revitalized his career rather than being this malcontent with the Steelers that, this, that, and the other, what you want to say about him. He's a stud, and he is just every bit as good as CeeDee Lamb at the game of football.
Yeah.
Maybe better, because he doesn't drop the easy ones that Lamb does sometimes. So he's got 2 dudes to throw it to before you even start talking about the tight end, Javonte Williams. This is going to be a tough game for the Chiefs. There's no question.
And look, Chiefs have a good corner tandem. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, one of the best in the league. But it's not going to matter if you make them cover for 6-7 seconds. It's not going to. So you've got to find a way to generate some pressure on Prescott some way, somehow. No, Spags is going to do it. He's going to have his exotic blitzes still. Like he's going to have something special. But
Dak might eat him up, man. Dak might have a.
He might.
Something tells me you got to look out for Dak.
But if Chris Jones can win his freaking matchup, if George Karlaftis can win his freaking one-on-ones like that, you can change the game that way. Don't have to rush 5 every time to get pressure. You can rush 4, but the Chiefs rushing 4 have not been able to get quarterbacks out of their comfort zone at all.
Yeah. I'm going to leave room for this Thanksgiving Day to be disappointing because, sometimes games that you think are going to be great end up being duds, just as like a general fan perspective. But we got 3 football games on Thanksgiving with an over-under around 50 for all 3 of them, and playoff caliber teams. I'll even count the Cowboys in this, in pretty much all 3 games. And like the Bengals won't be there, but because they've got Joe Burrow back, it's going to have that environment.
Yeah.
This is like the best on paper slate we've had for Thanksgiving in a long, long time. I'm pumped.
Pair that with the college football starting on Friday. Like that's going to be.
And Bears Eagles on Friday. Like this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome.
I forget about the Black Friday game. Wow.
It's a good one. Like I'm down for this. This is going to be a fun week.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in on how the Chiefs did this weekend. 573-875-5847 if you want to give us your thoughts on it. We will talk more about the Chiefs. We'll talk more about the college football weekend. We'll get some of your texts about Eli Drinkwitz as well from this past weekend. Like there's a lot of takes out there about, is he actually a good coach and all that.
Have your takes.
Yeah.
Have your takes. I won't push back. I mean, I might say I disagree with them, but that was the kind of game that if you want to feel a little bit emotional and have some takes, I certainly do, then bring them on. 573-875-KTGR. We want to hear from you.
So tell us what you think here on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. The leaves are already falling off. If not, they're about to fall off your trees for this winter. So it's easy to forget about them, right? You worry more about the lawn and the leaves and getting all that taken care of. But you also need to worry about your trees and making sure that you do tree pruning so that you can have them grow back stronger once the spring comes along. And so call Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions. They can get you scheduled for that now. Spots do fill up fast, though, so don't put it off until later. And anytime that Eric or one of his crew members comes out to do a project on your trees, they always determine the best cure for whatever your trees need. They determine what's most safe so that your yard doesn't have any limbs falling later on or isn't hanging over power lines or anything like that. And they give you an honest, fair price for all of their work. You will be glad that you worked with Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. Go visit them for a free estimate today, AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. On game day, every needs and every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal and a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
Well, the holidays are going to be here before you know it, and so will the family visits, the gatherings, and all the stress that comes with them. If your to-do list around the house still hasn't been touched, call Bax Homeworks. Their handyman service can take care of those little fixes, updates, and projects you've been putting off. Don't worry, you're not the only one. But that way, you can focus on what really matters. Relieve the stress now. Visit BaxHomeworks.com or find them on Facebook. Bax Homeworks. Getting your to-do list done.
Hi, this is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants and Allmake Repair Lab at 315 Ellis Boulevard in Jefferson City. From carols sung by a choir to the tearing of wrapping paper and jingling of bells, the holiday season is a time full of delightful sounds you shouldn't have to miss. If you think your quality of hearing may be turning you grinchy, come in for a free hearing evaluation so you don't miss a single jingle. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. Find us online at hearingaidconsultants.com.
If you're tired of telling that one guy that, yes, meetings are mandatory, and you're done doing so-and-so's projects because, well, they just couldn't get to it, then maybe it's time to revamp your team with MidmoHires.com. Post your open positions along with a description of the job, pay, location, and other info too. You don't have to put up with someone's shenanigans for much longer. Post your openings now at MidmoHires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. MidmoHires.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Derek texting in, 875-KTGR. KC won because they ran the ball. Hunt's better than he gets credit for. Not as fast as Pacheco, but has better vision. I mean, best version of the Chiefs backfield right now is getting Pacheco back into the fold, I still think. Probably not going to happen with the short week. Now, it's worth noting that they did sign Dameon Pierce to their practice squad today, so could be a factor late in the season. We shall see. And you probably don't make that move if you feel good about Pacheco coming back, because you'd like to use Pacheco and Hunt and some of Brashard Smith, but like Clyde Edwards-Helaire's getting on the field right now.
That was going to be my commentary as well.
Yeah.
He was 5 carries for 8 yards, and I think this was officially the game in which we've gone too far with the Brashard Smith hate. Like, I would give a couple of those snaps and carries to Brashard Smith over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. However, as we're talking about this, I looked down at my phone, and Yahoo Fantasy Sports lets me know. I know it looks bad if you still got Isaiah Pacheco on a fantasy team, but that is the situation I'm in. So I get the notification that he was listed as a full practicer again on the estimated report. So, like, Pacheco was practicing last week and just didn't quite make the game. Is that in mind with, hey, next week is a short one, and so he'll be ready for that one? I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Pacheco back for this game. I just don't know that I wouldn't still have Hunt be the guy that gets maybe the lion's share. Maybe it's more of a 60-40 split that favors Kareem Hunt, because I feel as though he was a key, as long as he doesn't fumble the ball, which I think he was literally flipped end over end on that fumble, and it was a unique moment. I think other than that play, he was really everything the Chiefs could have hoped for. And that's coming from like the biggest Kareem Hunt hater, where I've been complaining about the Chiefs backfield all year. He played really well yesterday.
So I was kind of blown away by this, but I guess Vahe Gregorian, Kansas City Star writer, covers all things Chiefs. Like, I think he said that was the first lost fumble by Kareem Hunt since his first touch in the NFL with the Chiefs, which I remember seeing in real time. Like, Chiefs are playing on, I think, Sunday Night Football.
It was a prime time. I know that.
I think
for sure.
Against the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. And and Kareem Hunt is a rookie, and he gets his first carry and he fumbles, and he hadn't fumbled at all in college.
Yeah.
And like, very first moment there, it's just so unfortunate, and he's like distraught on the sideline, but guys are picking him up, obviously. And then like,
I remember that.
He's had fumbles, I guess, in the past, but not a lost one until yesterday, which kind of blew my mind.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's also crazy to think back to that, because I drafted Kareem Hunt in the 3rd round of fantasy that year, which is like, if it obviously worked out, but at the time I was like, I don't know, he's a rookie. Is it going to work out? And the game that he ended up having that day, despite the fumble, was just otherworldly. I still look back on that really fondly. But yeah, I think the point you're making is well taken. He's been a pretty reliable guy in holding on to the football. And so I don't think you're going to punish him for that fumble. And obviously the team picked him up around it, and he ended up being a big reason that they won the game. So as much as I do think you're better if you get Pacheco back, because then your secondary option is certainly upgraded over the trust that I would clearly say they don't have in Brashard Smith, or the just lack of explosiveness from Clyde at this point. I think that it allows it to be more of a two-headed approach, and you feel good about either guy.
So to give us your Chiefs thoughts, again, short week for them, playing on Thanksgiving. They play on every holiday, obviously. 875-5847 if you want to call or text us here. to get your Chiefs thoughts in. Okay, I want to get to your drink comments as well on the text line.
Okay.
Steve texting in 2 things. Drink gets out coached by top 20 coaches all the time and doesn't get big time. Quarterback talent year after year, improvement in those 2 areas, and this program gets to the next level. Larry says, I've lost confidence in the Tigers to beat anyone ranked higher than them. Daniel says, I've said it the last few weeks, keep Drink, get rid of Kirby and Link. Well, he even made it rhyme. But
that's good.
I mean,
That's a good
for that,
I'll tattoo that slogan on my forehead if I have to. That's not bad.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. But look, I think that's been more, those comments maybe a little more tame than a lot that I've seen on social media of like folks saying, oh, if he takes LSU, I'll be glad he's gone or whatever. Like,
yeah,
stuff like that.
By the way, that wasn't a tweet that I sent. I know that you
no,
were,
I know
what
it's
you're
not
thinking.
you. I'm not
I know
saying
you're thinking it.
No, it wasn't you.
I stayed reserved on Saturday too. That was the single worst coaching decision I've ever seen Drink make. And then the second one was just as cowardly, but I was isolating it to talking about
Just
those
that
decisions.
Which
and
that
saying
one turned
look,
the game. And like, you can point back to that and say, if that goes differently, if you make a different decision.
You needed game control.
Right.
And you had the opportunity to gain 3 yards and keep it against all odds and try to make this a game. And they opted to go with, one of the worst special teams units in the history of this program instead.
And
so,
look,
whatever.
Those were bad moments, and I think they contributed to the outcome. And we have seen a bit of a trend like this, watching games at Mizzou, coached by Eli Drinkwitz before, against big-time opponents. Is he being too conservative? Is he not just laying it out there, trusting his players to make the play and all that? Like, look, maybe it's true. Like, we've seen enough data. We've seen enough data on that, I think. Like,
we've seen enough data to know too that he's not going to change his stripes. Eli Drinkwitz is going to err on the side of caution and coach conservatively, I think, until his final day coaching football. I feel as though that is the way that he believes it should be, unless we just have never seen him coaching with the personnel that he believes can execute something differently. If he had, and again, revisionist history, I'm not trying to get into all of it, but there have been opportunities, there have been forks in the road where Missouri under Drinkwitz has almost landed that, that golden boy quarterback.
And
they were close to getting Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, they almost had him.
Yep.
They were supposed to until LSU swooped in, and the rest is history.
Fernando Mendoza came on a visit this past offseason.
Mendoza, ended up. I can't tell you exactly why it went with Beau and not the other, but like we know what happened. Mendoza's in Indiana; they're going to the playoff. So it's not as though I think Drink is just totally incapable of getting his guy, but I think without having had that true difference maker, in all respect to Brady Cook, because what he did should not be like just completely washed away and ignored, but to have that guy that like, okay, that's the dude, he's going to be a first round NFL pick, and then Drink can run his dream offense with that guy. I don't think we've seen that. And so I think that maybe lends into the conservative style of coaching that we've seen from Drink. But what do you make of it? Like, because I would agree with you that some of the reaction, if you're saying hope he goes to LSU, don't care, like I think that's probably overly reactionary. But what would be your response to those who would say, like, I don't know if we can get over the top with this style of approaching these big games?
And I think it's a character flaw, and every coach has them. And whether we like it or not, they'll either be overly aggressive in some areas, and at times it pays off. Sometimes it can blow up in your face. Or at times they say, you know what, I don't need to inject too much of my influence into this game. Let's just stand pat because we're playing well. And a lot of coaches will err on that too. Here's the thing. Like, it's a character flaw at times for Eli Drinkwitz, because I think most of the time that does come back to bite him. That being said, people who are saying because of this, he's not a good coach, like, stop right now. Like, this guy, first of all, before he got here, you stopped caring about football in mid-October, and you were ready to like get really into the bye games that Mizzou men's basketball had coming up in November. And you were overanalyzing those, and you weren't really caring about the back half of the football season because Mizzou was out of playing anything meaningful. And now you are at a state where you played meaningful games into November. And even though there was one that you lost that ultimately took you out of playoff contention, there were still meaningful games after that. Like this brought you more meaning. This coach, with the way he has won, has breathed a whole lot of life into this program, and that should not go unnoticed. That should not go discounted because he didn't go for it on 4th and 3 against OU. Like, I get it. I'm not saying that was the right decision for him to do, but like that can't overshadow everything else that has happened to bring Mizzou to this spot where you are more disappointed by these losses because it meant that you could be playing with some of the big boys at some point. But there aren't even teams that get to sniff that opportunity, and Mizzou has been smelling it right in front of their noses for several years. Now, we can overanalyze why they haven't been able to finally catch that carrot, but you're in the conversation. Like, and Mizzou was an afterthought for it for years and years before Eli Drinkwitz really got this going. And so, like, I see comments of like, well, he's really good at culture building and getting the right players in the room and building up. Okay, yeah, that's like
it's a big portion of the
building a college football program. So
he's a CEO.
Yeah,
he's a really good CEO to the point like he knows what the company needs, even when none of the other employees of the company or the owner of the company or whatever the case might be. The owner in this case is kind of like the boosters, the people that supply the money.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell you what you need to do and then you start doing it and you get the results because of how good Drinkwitz is at all this other stuff that happens off the field. He has as good of an understanding. I've always credited him for this as anybody in the country for like the state of the game and how to try to, wedge your way into relevance within it. He does need the resources, I think, to do that. And it's a question as to whether, this initial surge that we've seen over the last 3 years or so from a funding standpoint, whether he believes that can be maintained here, even though, we haven't quite gotten over the hump. Like, I think in theory, if you can get it done in that 23 to 25 window at some point and make a playoff and maybe win a playoff game, like that would have been the proof of concept to where people would have, now it's not as hard to compel the Fortune 500s or whatever, right? Like in a perfect world, that's how this would have gone. But, just because you fell short on those given Saturdays, by the way, in 2023, if it had been a 12-team playoff, maybe this is a completely different conversation because they would have made the 12-team playoff. But the circumstances are what they are. And so now you're looking at it and saying, where do we go from here as a program? I think everything you said is spot on about like, not only could it be worse than it is right now, it could be significantly worse. And we might be about to find out because if he goes, I am also wondering what does that ending look like and what does it look like for the next coach that they hire? Yeah, you could hire a better coach than Eli Drinkwitz. Like if let's say they lose to Arkansas or they beat them, it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
And the next day we find out like he's taking a different job. I think you could potentially hire a better coach. Like I'll tell you this.
But that's the thing.
Well, let me finish the whole thing because I know the front end is going to sound bad. If you find out next week that Eli Drinkwitz is going somewhere else, and then Laird Veach does what he should do and calls Eric Morris and gets him from North Texas and brings one of the top quarterbacks in the country, Drew Mestemaker, with him, this will be a more productive offense next year than it is this year, and maybe more productive offense than Eli Drinkwitz could put together next year because we don't know yet who his quarterback's going to be. I don't know how much you know about this Drew Mestemaker kid, but he's really good. And Eric Morris is the quarterback whisperer who's worked with Mahomes, who's worked with Cam Ward. Like, he would be a very compelling get. I'm worried that Eric Morris is going to go to Arkansas. I can't wait till their coaching search is finished and maybe we find out it's not Eric Morris because, again, that is the guy I would love to have if Drink leaves. I would definitely rather Drink stay, though. My point is you could hire a great coach who brings a quarterback and, like, pick up right where the momentum was left off from Drink if he leaves. Or you could let a coach go who elevated the program in all the ways that you said, not let it go. It wouldn't be by your own choice.
Right.
But Drink could leave, and then you could end up with, I don't know, anybody. You could end up with somebody that against a really difficult schedule next year goes 4-8 because everybody leaves in the portal and you didn't replenish it in the same way. The NIL boosters weren't quite as enthusiastic because Drink is the ultimate marketer of the program and he can sell those folks on why they should be supporting this program and what that could bring for their organization. He's awesome at that stuff. Next year could be brutal without Eli Drinkwitz. So, like, there's that one little slim percentage chance that it actually gets better if he goes. that is not the majority likelihood about what is about to happen if Eli Drinkwitz decides to leave. It could very well, the bottom could drop out of this thing. And I do not believe that happens with Drink, by the way. I don't think you're in a situation where even with a tough schedule next year, he doesn't figure out a way to keep this team in that 7, 8, 9, 10 win conversation, even how difficult it could be. I don't think Drink is going to fail here, but you might not get the chance to find out. That's the part of this that's going to be so very difficult. And so, yeah, I guess careful what you wish for if you're really believing, like, I hope he leaves. That's not, and look, as much as anybody has been outspoken and sometimes just wrong in my criticisms, but I would hate to see that, because I would be very concerned for the drop off. And then it was one of those deals where you didn't know how good you had it until it was gone. That could very well be the way this goes for some Mizzou fans and Drink, if they're really thinking, oh, he can't win the big game, let's just let him leave. I don't endorse that, to be be very clear.
I think it's meaningful that the fact that this is a tough decision for Eli Drinkwitz even too, I think should also speak volumes. 10 years ago, no, this isn't a tough decision. Go to LSU. Like Mizzou versus LSU, go. Or Mizzou, Florida. Yeah, go to Florida. Like this was not a tough decision.
Right.
Like not that long ago. But Drinkwitz has built this to the point where it is a tough decision, because he has achieved a lot here at Mizzou. Now, has he gotten the big game yet? No. And maybe that's the kicking point for him. Like, maybe I have a better chance to actually upset some teams that are in the top 10 if I am at
because the foundation is
a better
more
starting
stable.
point than what I had here.
You
Whatever
don't
it
have
might
to build it back and scratch and claw like you might at Missouri to keep it maintained and keep Donovan Alubade and keep him on heart. Like, you'll have the funding to be able to, at least in the way that it's being presented, is how it feels, which is why here's my concern. Tell me where you think on this, because you're presenting it in a way that I think makes a lot of sense, but I may not be so sold on your premise that it is a difficult decision for Eli Drinkwitz, because I believe if he's offered any of these jobs that he'll take one.
Even if it's Florida or Auburn or those are the ones that would be like, I would understand Penn State and LSU.
Penn State, LSU.
Those are the two.
Question.
But I think I think we are very close to this here on the job stature of Mizzou versus Florida versus Auburn. If you ask me,
the job stature is one thing. I have a sinking feeling that with the way the last month has gone, that if he's offered, and this is not a report, I'm not saying this because I know it, I'm just a Mizzou fan who feels like, man, would it shock you if the way things are going? And maybe part of that is the coach that tells you Twitter's not real reads it. And so is part of that the fact that he's like, man, I have this opportunity to change my family's lives. And by the way, he could do that at Missouri as well. They would offer him a new extension, raise his salary, everything like that. But I have an opportunity to do right by my people and explore the opportunities that are out there for me. And then there's people going, get him out of here anyway. Like, would that not make you a little bit indignant and go, okay, screw him? Like, I'll leave if that's how they feel. So I wish Drink didn't read Twitter like that, because that shouldn't be what makes your decision. But he's his own person. He's going to decide his future the way that he wants to. I think Florida for sure, which some would say that Florida's already crossed him off the list. I don't know if that's true. But I think Florida he would take. And man, it seems a little weird from the outside, but I think with the past history he's had at Auburn, wouldn't be surprised if he'd take that. If Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss and Drink goes to Ole Miss, that would be like, oh my gosh, Mizzou, how did we bungle this so bad that Ole Miss is taking our guy? But yeah, any of the other four, I think whether he stays at Mizzou or not at this point, my fear is that it's contingent upon him not getting an offer from one of those four, because if he gets one, it might just be to a point where, like, you know what, fresh start. It's been, we didn't quite get over the hump at Missouri, and I'm going to have a lot of ammo and job security, right? Because if you start at a new place, you get 3-4 years. That's my concern.
I guess.
I hope I'm wrong.
I guess.
Well,
maybe. It's different nowadays, man.
At Penn State, though, you do, Andy, because the schedule is so damn easy. Drink knows he could roll out of bed and win 8 games at Penn State next year. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
That's my concern. I hope I'm wrong, but I think if he gets offered one, I think he probably takes it. That's where I'm. And it's like, I'd welcome him back. I'd root for him not to get offered one and welcome him back, because maybe he feels differently this time next year after going to the playoff. But in the here and now, that's my worry.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. I just think it's just so over the top. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be upset if Eli Drinkwitz leaves, and maybe you're saying, I'm glad he's gone because you're trying to
coping.
Get over it, right? To be like, well, because you always point out the flaws of the girl or guy that's leaving you and walking out the door, and
because I'll
doing
do
all
that.
You will do that.
Comes,
Look, it's all that
front of the line, but I hope I don't have to.
But understand where that's coming from, because he is a darn good coach, and wherever he goes, he's going to get that place up and running too. And like all the things that people are criticizing him about, I think are actually not criticisms, because he has been good in those areas. He's been good in culture building. He's been good in individual player development, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
He's been
beyond good
like,
in all these areas.
Nobody thought Cody Schrader could make the NFL when 3 years ago, essentially, when he was coming from Truman, and he sure enough is where he is. Harrison Mevis, kind of the same thing.
By the way, Mevis, rock solid.
Love it, man.
Night.
That was awesome. Love
that
it.
was awesome.
That was so cool. Do it for another team other than the Rams, but like that's really cool.
When Mevis makes a field goal to win the Super Bowl this year, I am going to be.
You are going to be going through it. You
it's
sure
a
are.
60. What was the kick against K-State? 61 yards.
61.
When it's 61 to they're down by 1 and they beat the Chiefs on the Mevis kick. I don't know what that next big show is going to look like, but
man.
Wow.
Either way, like, you're going to be upset that Drink is leaving, but it's because he's a good coach, and you realize deep down that hiring a new one is just going to be a dart throw, and with a G5 up and comer, most likely, which is even more of a dart throw that you just don't know which way it's going to land.
You could get Billy Napier, or you could get Eli Drinkwitz. Like you
don't
know which one you don't know which one you're going to get. And I'm telling you what, man, I just wish this wasn't such a dominant part of the conversation of like fans thinking, let him go. Cause I really think the coach cares about that. And I tell you what, anywhere you're going to go, there's going to be the college football fans. Like they're crazy. We are crazy. That's why it's such a beautiful sport. But when you're in a once in a lifetime position, as he may be put into over the next couple of weeks, who knows what could tip the scale in one direction or another. But I do know if he leaves, carnage. It will be carnage for this roster, and my heart sinks just thinking about it. So,
875-KTGR, give us a call or a text with your thoughts on Drink, his tenure at Mizzou. Which, look, it's still going, and it could still go on. And I think you should hope that it still goes on.
Yes,
but a lot could happen come Monday next week. 875-5847. You're on the Big Show. This weekend could be the culmination of a lot of different of those factors, and we might finally get answers on it. And by the way, there's football being played too. That should be some intriguing matchups. We'll get to it next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Beau Pribula returned from Mizzou this past Saturday after a dislocated ankle, but Tiger offense could not get in the end zone against Oklahoma as they fall 17-6 to fall to 7-4 overall on the season, 3-4 in SEC play. The Tigers will finish out the regular season on the road as they take on Arkansas for the Battle Line rivalry, 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. Chiefs with a comeback victory at Arrowhead yesterday over the 8-2 Indianapolis Colts, 23-20 in overtime. Harrison Butker, the walk-off field goal. Kareem Hunt over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown for him. Patrick Mahomes over 350 yards passing. Chiefs are 6-5. Still a game out of that final AFC wildcard spot. Short week for them as they play at the Dallas Cowboys, 3:30 on Thanksgiving Day. And Mizzou Wrestling tonight has a rematch against Illinois, a team they just faced last weekend in Tulsa at the National Duels. Hearn Center action gets started at 6:30 this evening. ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Billiards on Broadway, home to fresh hand patty burgers, fresh cut fries, long list of Missouri beers on tap, pool tables, and huge TVs. Get to Billiards on Broadway.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a cloudy and rainy night as showers continue through late this evening. Fog develops tomorrow morning. Temperatures remain in the upper 40s to around 50 with cloud cover lingering through tomorrow afternoon. We'll see highs back into the mid to upper 50s. It'll be breezy, especially towards late afternoon as clouds clear out. We'll have a chance for a couple more sprinkles with temperatures dropping down to near freezing by Wednesday morning. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. M-I-Z. Marching Mizzou. And of course, the traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. It's the Battle Line rivalry against Arkansas. Our coverage begins at 12:30 on your home for Mizzou football.
We are
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Andy, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year to watch football, and Underdog is celebrating with Feast Week from November 26th through November 30th. You can check the app daily for special promos, but we can get started right away on playing Underdog with the Monday Night Football game. Anything you like for this evening?
Well, I like offense in this game, and so I'll say that Brock Purdy has a good passing game. He has come back from injury recently, but looked very good last time out. I think he goes higher than 254.5 passing yards for this game. And then, my gosh, Rico Dowdle has really burst onto the scene for the Panthers and seized that starting job. I think he has a good game on the ground. Give me higher than 74.5 rush yards for Dowdle.
And that's just an example of how easy it is to play on Underdog. Choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on their stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. And if you get your entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So download the app today, sign up with promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering. The chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
My name is Josh Arnold, and I've been working at Zimmer Communications for over 5 years. When I first started at Zimmer, I was really impressed at all of the resources that they have available to you to succeed. I started at this job right out of college. I think I learned more here my first 3 to 6 months than I did in all of my time in my schooling at college. Working at Zimmer Communications, you really feel like you're part of a team. You don't feel like you're pitted against one another. It's a really fun atmosphere that allows me to excel in my job.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
The Big O Tires Black Friday sale is on. It's the biggest sale of the year. Now through December 7th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free on select sets. That's right. Buy 3 tires and get the 4th free. And the savings don't stop there. Get up to $120 off select sets of Michelin tires. Get rolling with huge savings before they're gone. Only at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires. The team you trust.
We got you covered at Big O.
Columbia's best Black Friday gun sale is at Minutemen Defense. November 18th through the 29th, everything except ammo is on sale. Big giveaways November 28th and 29th, including merch, ammo bundles, and Cerakote packages. Don't miss Friday and Saturday specials, plus tiered savings on STAC gear. Shop their website now through Black Friday and use the code RADIO at checkout for a special Black Friday discount on your purchase. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com. Minutemen Defense off I-70 in Rangeline.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Well, call or text us here all this week. It will be a short week for us, by the way. No show on Thursday or Friday. Hope all of you have a happy Thanksgiving. But we will be here tomorrow and on Wednesday, so you can continue to interact with us then. Like, I guess since we're kind of short on time here, just that, Brendan, this weekend could be wild in college football. What's the wildest thing that could happen in your estimation?
Oh, the wildest thing that could happen?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
The games play out this weekend, however they play out. Let's say Auburn wins the Iron Bowl. Okay. Kalen DeBoer goes to Penn State. Lane Kiffin Lane Kiffin goes to Bama. And, and then I guess Eli Drinkwitz goes to Ole Miss. That's the wildest thing that could happen this weekend is the coaching carousel playing out thusly. Like, there's some smoke about that Kalen DeBoer Penn State thing. Nobody really knows what Penn State's doing.
I don't think
there's no way.
There's
but
no
you asked
way.
me the wildest. That would be the wildest.
That is the wildest. I think the wildest thing that could happen is that Lane Kiffin doesn't coach on Friday.
Yeah, that's probably on the list.
Yeah.
I still am not convinced he's going to LSU. Like, I don't think he's going to LSU. Maybe that's just the answer.
Well, it might not be LSU. I don't think he's going to be coaching Ole Miss after this weekend, but
I don't think he's going to LSU. Is like my gut keeps telling me it came out. It would almost be too smooth of a Lane Kiffin coaching carousel if we knew a week in advance what was going to happen and then it happened. Something tells me that there's something funny afoot. I don't know what it is. I think it'll be chaotic. On the field, yeah, you could have upsets. You could have Auburn winning the Iron Bowl. You could have,
but it's like it's flipped this year. Like that is not the most important thing. Like, there are teams that this is their last shot at playoff positioning or getting into a conference championship or things like that. But it is the secondary conversation to the college football landscape right now. It is wild.
Yeah, no, but I think there are some wild things that could still happen on the field. Like, that Oklahoma team, they're not great offensively. LSU could beat them, knock them out of the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd pick Oklahoma to win, but like, that's something that could happen. There's upsets that could happen. We could get a wild one between Vandy and Tennessee. Like, there's a lot on the field, but certainly I think Sunday will almost be maybe more chaotic than Friday, Saturday, because we might start finding out what some of the coaching maneuvering is going to be.
I mean, we'll find out Saturday about Lane presumably.
Because they play Friday.
Yeah. But then Sunday, the dominoes after that, be on your toes
Could be nuts.
for the next 7 days. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow and on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Bill Connelly of ESPN for joining us as well. Chiefs Kingdom Show. Celebrate that comeback win from yesterday next with Mitch Holthus here on KTGR. We'll see you.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits.